issue over embryonic stem cells heating up this morning with President Obama's decision to end the previous administration's restrictions. President Bush revealed his policy on funding embryonic stem cell research, you'll recall, in 2001.
I have concluded that we should allow federal funds to be used for research on these existing stem cell lines, where the life and death decision has already been made. Leading scientists tell me research on these 60 lines has great promise that could lead to breakthrough therapies and cures. This allows us to explore the promise and potential of stem cell research without crossing a fundamental moral line by providing taxpayer funding that would sanction or encourage further destruction of human embryos that have at least the potential for life.
You know, we can't forget there is private research into stem cells. Let's talk about that and how today's decision impacts private research. Dr. Joshua Hare is a cardiologist and director of a stem cell institute at the University of Miami. Doctor, appreciate it. Thanks for your time. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Well, let me first ask you.
Pleasure to be with you.
What do you think the impact of today's decision will be on your research?
This is an extremely important thing for biomedical research in general. We really are in an era of cell-based therapies. We've already been using cell-based therapies experimentally for about 10 years.
Explain
We've
that.
had this big restriction hanging over us.
Yeah, cell-based therapies, would you explain what that means?
Yeah, for example, if you have a heart attack, which is a very common thing, it occurs 1 million times a year in the United States, a big area of your heart muscle is permanently destroyed, and we take cells from the bone marrow or other parts of the body, which are adult stem cells, and try to use those cells to repair the damage.
Now, talk to us about why these embryonic stem cells are so coveted by people like you and research facilities like yours. Well, what characteristics do they have that make them different from other types of cells?
And you can think of an embryonic stem cell as the ultimate stem cell. It is the cell that can turn into every type of tissue in the body, every type of cell and tissue in the body. Neurons, pancreatic tissue
so
that
they can
makes
be programmed.
insulin, heart muscle. They have the capacity to turn into every type of tissue, and depending on the environment in which they're put, they can turn into every type of tissue.
Can you make I'm going to ask you to maybe argue against yourself here, maybe against your research. Can you at least make the argument for the slippery slope that many feel we're on now by virtue of the president signing this executive order, and what we keep hearing time and time again is this whole idea of cloned human embryos?
Yeah, I don't think that there's a slippery slope. There's always the fear of a slippery slope, but medicine is a very ethical profession. We don't do any type of human research of any kind without very significant ethical oversight by committees at our universities, committees at the NIH. All research is very, very carefully overseen, and ultimately the goal of medicine is to help people, not to harm people. So we're always balancing these types of issues.
Dr. Hare, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, we want to know what you think about this topic. Email us at newsroom@cnn.com.